Hey YouTube, Mr. Dodo8449 here. Before I start this, my first double O gauge update of Combe Hill for quite a while actually, a couple of months almost. I just want to start by saying a few things. First of all, happy Christmas everybody. Apologies I didn't get a Christmas video out. I hope you get lots of trainee sort of stuff. I've been checking out YouTube videos of people. It looked like got some good stuff. Unfortunately I didn't get anything for the layout, but I needed stuff for uni and so on. So anyway, that was happening. Secondly, I wanted to thank all my subscribers, well over 500 now, which is amazing, for hanging on for this video. It's been a little while, but yeah, just thanks so much for that. I'd also like to just apologise. There's not a lot that has gone on. I've got a couple of ideas which I'm going to be talking about, but not a huge amount has actually gone on to the layout. I've just been very busy with lots of other different things anyway. I believe that's everything. Oh, one more thing. A few people have been asking me to just recommend their channels. Apologies, I can't remember your names. If you did drop me a recommendation sort of in the past couple of weeks, then just put a comment below and I will hopefully do it in the next video, which will hopefully be before I go back to uni. But there's one guy in particular, he's asked me 3 or 4 times now, and this is the first video I've done, and that is Mr. O Gauge. You may know him as Reptile Lover 911. I believe that was his old name. Anyway, he's moved from N Gauge to O Gauge now, and his new channel is called Mr. O Gauge. I know he really would appreciate if all the subscribers that he used to have would sort of jump across to that channel. Also, if anyone is interested in model railways, he's currently building a layout for it, and especially if you're interested in O Gauge, because there isn't that many O Gauge channels around, so in fact any gauge really. Anyway, yeah, so if you go and check him out, I'm sure we really appreciate that. Right, time to get on with my update. Finally, 2 minutes in and I haven't talked about it. Anyway, so what's happened? Well, first of all, you're currently looking at my crane. Well, what's the update on that? There's really no update. I went and broke it. That's the update on that. I purposely broke it. This is just a warning for anyone who does build sort of like plastic kits. If you want the part to move, my advice is to avoid glue at all costs. Because I glued literally everywhere on that, and none of the bits that are meant to move. So that's the thing I just wanted to say to anyone who's making plastic kits. Be very careful with the glue. Almost use a needle to apply the glue in some places. You will regret it, because at the moment the problem with this crane here is the boom will not lift up on the strings and so on. You have to manually do it, and it's just not quite as good. The other problem I had is I stuck it and it wouldn't twist properly. So the advice for that is don't paint on bits that you want to move. That's what I did, and the paint caused it to stick and it wouldn't twist properly. So there's just a helpful hint for everybody. If you're building plastic kits, little glue, only paint areas that need to be painted. If you can't see it, don't paint it. So that's enough for that. What else has happened? I can't remember if I showed you this in my last update. I'm pretty sure I did, but I'll just mention it again anyway. A little gate here, and what I'm actually going to do is cut this in half and put 2 of them, 2 identical gates in there. That'll be the gates to the yard area. We're going to move around now. Look at that. I have altered this quite dramatically. Is what I did is I picked up my knife, as in my actual knife, not my craft knife, and I cut off all of the long static grass that was on there. If you go and check my previous update, there was a nice static grass meadow there. It's all gone. I left the short grass there. I didn't peel it right back to it. I left the short grass there. It gives a really nice effect. I then just picked up a can of, where's it gone? Oh, there. Mud brown spray paint. Forget the army issue thing. I have no idea what that's all about. But it was mud brown colour. Sprayed on this to give it a good covering all over it, which gives it a nice muddy colour, obviously. But also there's little bits of green coming through, so it wasn't like a thick coating. It was like quite a light sort of like streaks going over it. So there's actually grass colours coming through. I'll be adding a little bit of tarmac in this area here to join the brown to the black road, or the grey coloured road. But as you can see, it's like a yard here I've now created. As well as that, my previous my previous layout, Gorin Head, is completely gone now. I have finally removed everything. I have a box full of all the bits and trees and things like that I pulled off. And some of the bits that I pulled off were these here, which are these like walls that are made from resin or something. They're quite heavy, but I've always thought they look really good. So I've actually built like a fence almost around here, and this here is going to be a coal merchant. So as you can see, there's a little bit of coal in the corner. I'm going to be building a little hut that will either sit in the corner there or will sit sort of on this corner here. I'm then going to build a couple of coal stores out of like matchsticks, buy different grades of coal, and create like a coal merchant here. I think that'll look quite good. I mean, it already changes this area of the layout so much. It really does add a different dimension to it, which I think looks really good. And it's all I did is just peeled away the hedge that was here, and there's the road in. I'll put a little bit in here, maybe a gate, I'm not too sure. I probably won't have a gate for this particular bit. But anyway, so that's a little coal thing which is coming along nicely. All the walls are stuck down. This here is not stuck. This coal is just in the way. So I could see what it would look like, but I think it looks really good. A little bit more detailing to adding some more bushes around the outside, make it look all overgrown. Spinning around to the next thing. Ooh, what's happened to my river, I hear you say? It's gone white. It has indeed gone white. I have finally got around to doing the river scene. I wanted to buy static water, or water effects, whatever you want to call it, but I just couldn't justify spending £10 on a bottle to do something that's all of a 1.5 wide by 4 inches wide, maybe not 8, 4 inches wide. I just could not justify spending £10 on a bottle just for that. So I have taken a huge risk here, and I've just used wood PVA glue. Now I'm doing it carefully. There is only about 1 mil, maybe 2 mil of glue. In fact, it's less than that. There is 1 mil of glue over the whole of it, which is the white you can see. I haven't put like a full 5 mil because last time I did that it went like a misty colour, so it's a very light covering. Now the stream was originally going to be very fast flowing. I've now changed that because I couldn't afford, well, I just didn't quite see the reason in buying expensive something like that. So it's now going to be a slower moving river. I may at some point go out and buy water effects rather than static water. The static water gives you like a nice flat, shiny, clear water effect. The sort of like water effects you can buy is more like if you want to create waves or ripples or fast flowing water, or where water moves suddenly, or you know, anything like that. Because you buy the water effects, which I might buy because it's half the price basically. And as what I would do then is I'd basically just put it on top of this layer of PVA glue, and I could add all the details I wanted, like peaks and ridges and things like that. But have to see how that goes. But at the moment this is looking okay. I've kept the rocks, it's looking very shallow, which is kind of what I was going for. I've changed my mind, as I said, from fast flowing. A little bit more detail I need to add, sort of like a couple of bushes around the gap here. But I think it looks quite nice. Another thing, I said I removed lots of stuff from my old layout. One thing I removed was this nice leaning tree, which will be going back, and it will probably be sitting something like that, coming towards, well, you can see how it's going to sit, and I think that'll look really good. But anyway, so it's going well so far. It's only been on there for about 4 hours now. It's probably going to take a full 24 hours, maybe 48 hours to dry so it goes clear. But I do hope it goes clear and doesn't go misty, but it's a risk. I thought I'd take it. If it does go misty, because it's so thin, you'll still be able to see through to the bottom. Now, to be honest, it only goes under the bridge about 1 inch, enough so the camera can't pick it up. You have to get right down low. I mean, like eyes at the same level as the river to be able to see that it doesn't go all the way. But I just couldn't get my paintbrush in there to even it out. Moving along. My next thing to talk about is the mess on top of the bridge. There we go. The next thing I want to talk about is very quickly is this here, and at the back there, the old polystyrene that I had. I picked up that spray which I showed you earlier and gave that a quick coat over to give you a brown colour, and on top of that it's going to go static grass and so on. So that's all happened here. Now at the back I did exactly the same, except you will notice there's another tree. If I bring this up slightly. There we go. Again, from my old layout, it's got this very nice. Well, I pulled it off. I thought it'd come off in bits, but it all came off as one nice chunk, a 90-degree bend, and I thought it looked really useful. So I kept it, and it's like a fence almost with 2 trees in there. I'm going to buy another one of these fences to fill in this gap. Then behind there is going to be just an uncared for meadow, lots of static grass and lots of foliage and things like that, and I think that will look really good there, just as something, just a little bit to fill in that corner, a little bit wild. I think this tree looks really good as well. The only thing I might need to do is trim off a couple of the branches, because it does very slightly overhang the track, but I will pick up a coach and see how much it is, and then cut it away so it's kind of gives like a nice arch shape, as you would expect from, you know, locos running under trees all the time, is what would happen. So yeah, that's come along pretty nicely. I think it looks really good, to be honest. I just think it adds just a really nice dimension just to that little bit of the layout. Just, it was looking quite plain, and suddenly there's pop. There's a big tree there. There's a nice bit of fencing in the way. The ground is now, well, brown, which is a good start. And it won't take me too long to get that looking all nice and good and finished, in fact. That's another thing I'm now doing. I've started to work on the layout in areas. As you can see, I'm currently working on this end of the layout, and I've worked on 4 areas here. I've shown you the third one. I'll show you the final one in just a second. But working on areas, it gives you like a target. I can finish this. I can finish this 90%, finish this here, and then I'll move on to the next one. And then that way, you won't sort of like have bits which you still need to do. For instance, I still need to do the second platform. I've done one platform, I need to do the second one. Thankfully there is a little bit more ballasting to it, but thankfully I did all the ballasting as one, so there's not really too much of a problem there. But anyway, that's just a nice little thing just to know. If you do struggle with scenery, instead of thinking of it as an entire layout, think of it as a section. So if you do this section, then move on to the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and so on and so on. And then that way you'll build up the layout slowly, but like methodically, and it'll look really good at the end, rather than jumping randomly from one place to another. I mean, I have about 4 areas going on at once here, so when I maybe run out of scenery for one area, I can jump to the next area and carry on, sort of where I'm doing it. So anyway, the final thing, now then, bottom of the screen. Ooh, looks interesting, doesn't it? Well, it is, when I drop the camera down, hang on, the camera's not going down, there we go. I went and brought myself, a little while ago actually, it's been sitting in my, I can't find the packaging, that's just irritating because I had it earlier, oh well. I just had this sitting around in my scenery box, that might be it there, that's it. It's field grass from Woodland Scenics, and the grass comes in at sort of like 50 centimetre, 60 centimetre long strands, as you can see there. Now I've gone for, what colour do they call it? Harvest Gold. Excuse me. I've gone for Harvest Gold, which is this really nice bright golden colour. And I've put only 3 tufts in at the moment. My plan is to cover this entire area completely, and then maybe have a harvest scene going on, so guys hacking it down and so on like that. But it's what I was just showing you. I've just put 3 down at the moment, just so I can see how it looks. And as all I've done is I grab a clump of about maybe 15-20 pieces. I then grab it, cut it to give you a flat bottom. I cut one long strand into 3 smaller bits. So I cut 6 centimetres into about 2 centimetre lengths. Excuse me. Then you grab the ends which you've cut, because it's now all flush. You simply either dip it in glue and then stick it down, or what I do, I think is better, is stick a blob of glue on and then just place it in there. You do need to hold it there for about 2 minutes or so. It might sound like a long time, or at least a minute, just so it starts to dry, which is why this stuff here, which I've brought, is quick drying PVA. It starts to cure after just 10 minutes, whereas the old stuff I had started to cure after an hour, so it's quite a lot quicker. But the final thing which I did, which is the main hint, rest something behind it. My camera may die in a minute. Rest something behind it, lean it against it, and then it will be nice and straight and upright. And it will just save you a lot of hassle trying to make them stand upright when you're trying to do loads of them at once. So that is it for this update. I want to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Comment below. Hit that like button and the subscribe button. I really appreciate all my subscribers. As I said, well over 500 now. It's absolutely brilliant news. So yeah, I'll just finish by saying Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you have a good start to the 2014 now. Wow. 2014, and I will catch you again in the new year with a new video. Thanks for watching.